In this episode, I want to look at the aspect of minding your space, or basically creating room, or enlarging your tent. Let me say it that way. Enlarging your tent. Let's say you've drawn your horizontal line and you've put your markings. You know where you write 1 and 2. If I ask you to write a number line that starts from 1,000,000 to 1,000,001, you might not be able to fit those digits within that particular space. So what does that teach us? This teaches us that whenever the number of digits increase, then we also need to increase the space to write those particular digits. Now, this reminds me of some very interesting story. I grew up in some farm school, and we used to stay in some compound where we were only given 3 rooms. And this is where we used to stay as a family. So me as the firstborn, and my family, we used to stay in those particular 3 rooms. So when it was me and my parents, it used to be okay because they used 1 bedroom and I would sleep in the sitting room. But when the family started to increase, the 2nd girl, the 3rd girl, the 4th girl, the 5th boy, until we were 7, the very same house was not expanded to actually accommodate the number of children. I know many of you would actually identify with what I'm saying. That certainly this particular house or these particular rooms would change functionality. During the day, there will actually be a bedroom, a sitting room, and a kitchen. But during the night, then these rooms shift functionality. The kitchen becomes a bedroom, and the sitting room, actually, the dining room simply becomes also another bedroom. A bedroom for boys, a bedroom for girls, and a bedroom for the mother and the father. So in this particular case, the space did not increase, but the family size actually increased. Now I learned from the number line that the moment you start expanding, there's also a need to increase space. The moment you start to have even more children, you need to increase the space. The moment you start having more money, you need to increase the space. Expanding and increasing capacity to handle the money, capacity to handle even a bigger family, capacity to handle that which is actually growing in your life. I have learned this from the number line, that certainly in life you need to understand that as you increase the number of digits, you also need to increase the amount of space. So next time when you manage your monies and as they begin to increase, you need to also increase your capacity to handle that particular amount of money. So there's also another interesting aspect that you may need to also pick up here. That obviously Obviously, where you write 1 and 2 on those particular markings, the moment you change to include bigger numbers, then you actually need to redefine the scale. I've learned that for you to navigate your way to success, there are certain things that you actually need to do, is to learn this aspect of basically redefining your scale. Where you were putting markings of 1 centimeter apart, you might need to put them 4 centimeters apart. Life is generally like that. As you prepare for increase, as you prepare for the things that are coming, you always need to have that at the back of your mind, that you always need to redefine your scale. What does that imply? This implies that by learning from the number line, you are always prepared. The number line speaks to preparedness to things that are coming into your life, things that are expanding in your life, things that are increasing in your life. So the number line teaches us that you need to always learn how to redefine your scale. Redefining your scale is important when the number of digits actually increase. Can I just also add that I have just said that when you look at a number line is simply made up of these particular 10 digits, 0 to 9. Did you know that the human genome, you and I, are actually made up of only 4 proteins? And I'm not going to dwell into all those particular proteins, but all those that understand genetics will know that we are made up of only 4 proteins that are actually intertwined and made in some different ways to form who we are. Similarly, when you look at the number line, it's only made up of only those 10 particular digits. So in life, you don't need so many things for success. You need to have very few principles that guide you to success. You need few principles that you actually dwell on that can lead you to success. I've seen so many people that look at so many things, they try to do so many things at the same time, they try to combine A, B, C, D. A few things can actually lead you to success. So what does the number line teach you? Just focus on a few things. Focus on a few things, and when you focus on them, they can help you to be successful as you navigate your life. The number line, ladies and gentlemen, is often introduced in primary school. And it is basically a tool that helps people to do their basic arithmetics. Addition, subtraction, sometimes division, and even multiplication. You know that when you are at the number 1, if you move 2 steps, then you go and land at 3. Which basically teaches a young child to say 1 plus 2 is actually equal to 3. So a number line is actually a tool that is used for mathematical operations. And in this particular instance, I want to also emphasize this, that the number line is going to be our tool that will teach us success principles.